Hey everyone, I'm Ryan here, and today I'm back with more of my live gameplay tutorial for Arkham Horror the card game. I want to go over the decks I was using in the previous video a little bit. Right now I'm just slowly going through all of the cards so you can pause them and look at them if you want. And the main reason I want to go over the decks is because we're about to upgrade them. I want to talk about using your experience to upgrade your decks. The Rex deck is very straightforward. It's why I picked Rex. Rex is very good at giving clues. Every card in his deck either makes his book score better, synergizes with his ability, or directly triggers it, or it's economy cards, or draw cards. It's all just built around rapidly assembling the Rex thing. You want Rex to have a high book so that he can consistently trigger his abilities so that he gets lots of clues. And then the skills are really just here because, well, partly it's because they're actually very good skills, but to keep the curve down. If you make your deck nothing but events and assets, it gets too expensive. Daniela's deck is a lot more complicated, but honestly, she's one of the simpler fighters, and that's why I picked her. I also wanted somebody who was strictly a fighter, which a lot of the simpler fighters are also trying to do something other than fight, like Roland Banks. He's also helping with clues, and I wanted the characters to be clearly defined for the tutorial, which is why I picked Daniela. And her deck is, again, very straightforward. She has a suite of weapons to make sure she hits something and actually do her job as a fighter. She has several allies, but this many allies is pretty jank, because you have 1 ally slot and 6 ally cards in the deck. And then she has some events that synergize with her ability, an economy card and stand together, more events, and then several skill cards to keep her costs down. The reason I run 1 of Darren, 1 of Take Card, is simply because Take Card is my 5th red card, and I only get to have 5 red cards. So I had to find a blue card that I would like to run instead of a second Take Card. And if you've played the game before, you can look at this and immediately tell what I'm doing with Daniela's upgrade. So let's talk about upgrading decks. We got 6 experience last time. There are a lot of ways you can go about upgrading decks. I tend to be the kind of person where I have a deck built for whoever I'm playing and I know what I'm doing. In the past, I've went through all the characters and just made decks for everyone. Just some idea of what an in-game deck would look like with a character because I was curious as to how they would work. That is the way that I would recommend, but however you're comfortable making decks, make your decks. Some people are going to just figure out their upgrades on the fly. Other people's like me go in with the entire deck upgrade pre-planned, and with the expectation they might have to adjust it a little bit as they play the character and find out that expectations does not match reality. So with Daniela here, when I made her level 0 deck, I knew exactly what her first upgrade was. It was 2 copies of Charisma. Charisma is a permanent card that says you have 1 additional ally slot. Permanent cards are exactly what they sound like. They are assets and you start with them and play, and no matter what happens, they can never be discarded. So now, instead of having 1 ally slot and all these people competing to be in it, I have 3 ally slots and no problem getting all of these allies into play. Looking at this, though, I can pretty confidently say that I probably made a mistake building this Daniela deck, and that I probably wanted to have emergency caches over this Daring and this Take Card, or over something, because the economy in this deck for the amount of assets I'm trying to play is probably a little bit too light, and we're going to see that in action soon, so I suppose it's a good thing to have in a tutorial, but a bad thing to demonstrate in deck building. So let's save that and head over to our Rex deck. And in Rex's deck, we have the same 6 experience. And we don't have as many allies. Just like my other deck, I still want to buy a copy of Charisma, because I want to have Milan Christopher and Jeremiah Kirby in play at the same time for their book scores and their abilities. However, my next 3 experience isn't as clear. There are a huge variety of options that you can pick. To go through and talk about every single thing, this is just the assets Rex can get. There are events and skills too. Would take forever. So instead, I'm just going to explain why I'm making the choice that I am making, and that choice is higher education. Higher education is a permanent card that reads, while you have 5 or more cards in your hand, higher education gains the following text. Lightning Bolt, spend 1 resource, you get +2 head for the skill test, or Lightning Bolt, spend 1 resource, you get +2 book for the skill test. So essentially, it turns money into copies of Perception and Guts that just don't draw a card, but they didn't cost 1 either, so it's essentially the exact same thing. And since I need to pass a book test by +2, because I'm Rex Murphy, you can immediately see the feedback loop between higher education, Dr. Milan Christopher, and Rex Murphy. You'll be unsurprised to learn, if you are truly new to the game, that all 3 of these cards have been tabooed. Rex Murphy is once per round, Milan Christopher is once per round, and higher education is 6 experience. I could go on at length about the taboo list and when you should start using it, but that's really up to individual players. Instead, I'll simply say that after your first couple of games, I recommend you do house rule in the taboos for Christopher Milan and Rex Murphy, even if you don't use the rest, because they are the most egregious taboos in the game that should never have happened. And this tutorial series is already showcasing that, but we'll probably continue to do it throughout the next 2 scenarios. Speaking of, let's get into the second scenario of the Midnight Mass. I've completed the setup for the Midnight Mass. My investigators are spawning in Rivertown, which is a one-shot location with 2 clues. An Acolyte is already in play in Southside. This is the first thing I need to talk about. There's a Doom on this Acolyte, because as you can see on his text, forced after Acolyte enters play, place 1 Doom on it. When there is any Doom in play, wherever it is, it counts towards this. So if this were to hit 5 right now, out of its potential 6, then it would progress immediately. And when I got rid of the Doom on this, I would also get rid of the Doom on the Acolyte. Going back to the agenda, though, let's talk about our agenda and act cards. The agenda has a 6 Doom threshold and the ability to resign whenever we want. And our act, weirdly enough, has only 1 card and no clue threshold. And the reason is because we have action, the investigators spend 2 clues per investigator as a group. Draw the top card of the cultist deck, which is this deck of 5 cards here. And our objective is to find as many unique cultist enemies as you can and add them to the victory display. If there are 6 unique cultist enemies in the victory display, advance. And a note, not all of them are in the cultist deck. After all, 5 is not 6. So the reason this resign action is important is because this is the first scenario where you aren't really expected to get full completion. Most people are not going to leave this scenario with all 6 cultists found. If you do really care about spoilers, now is the time to bail, as the location of the 6th cultist is the first, in my opinion, real major spoiler. But I imagine for most of you, as you're here to either watch me or watch a live gameplay tutorial, you're still in it. So let's get into the actual gameplay. I'm going to be taking it a lot faster this time. I've already shown you all the cards in my decks, and you've already seen me play them once before, so I'm not going to be explaining quite as much on really simple decisions as I was last time. So without further ado, let's do our mulligans and actually get into the gameplay. So this didn't come up last time, but if you draw your weakness during the mulligan phase, you automatically redraw it. So here, Rex, none of these cards in his hand are bad at all, but I need to find certain assets and get them into play, so I don't really care about true understanding, perception, and deduction the same way as I care about those assets. Burning the Midnight Oil's economy, search for the truth is card draw, and I need cards to keep higher education going, so I'll be redrawing 3 of my cards. Unfortunately, the ally that I found is the ally that I have from the story, and not the one that actually helps Rex do his job. So Rex is basically running on empty right now, but even Rex on empty is an incredibly good investigator, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Meanwhile, on Daniela's end of things, I will keep the meat cleaver and toss everything else. Because I want the weapon, and boy howdy did I get the weapons. But I was hoping for some economy, and in fact I got it. Stand Together is very helpful. But since Rex has no assets, and really neither does Daniela, I'm not going to bother playing Stand Together yet. I'm going to go first with Daniela. I spend 3 resources to put Machete in play. It's an asset, it swings for +1 a fist, and it hits for +1 damage, and it only gets that +1 damage if I'm engaged with the enemy, and it's the only enemy I'm engaged with. When if you know it, there's an enemy on the board, played the Machete, move to him, he engages me automatically when I get to him. And now I'm going to swing at the Acolyte at 5, 6 to 3, and if I hit, he's dead. Cool. So that starting Acolyte is sorted. That's Daniela's turn. Next, for Rex, we're going to remember to put his mulligan into his deck. That's kind of important. And then we're going to investigate with Burning the Midnight Oil to get 2 resources and take the investigate action at, I believe it's 4 to 1? 4 to 1. And there's no reason not to throw Eureka at this. Now it's 5 to 1, and if we pass, we get to draw one of the top 3 cards of our deck. And we pass with ease, Rex's ability triggers, and we get both clues. And we'll look at the top 3 cards of our deck. Shortcut, Jeremiah. That's an easy Jeremiah Kirby. My next action, I'm going to play Jeremiah Kirby for 4. And as I said previously, my deck is overwhelmingly even cards, so I'm going to declare even, draw 5, and put everything else back that wasn't even. Yeah, like I said, overwhelmingly even cards, 4 zeros. Oh, I forgot to flip Southside when I moved Daniela down. I was too caught up in killing the Acolyte. And at Southside, you have the ability to search your deck for an ally asset and add it to your hand. Seems useful for later, for both of our characters, actually. Oh, it has the text limit once per game on it. This is per investigator. If it was for the whole group, it would say group limit once per game. So everyone gets to do this ability 1 time. And I'm going to go ahead and immediately shortcut Rex and have him just pop in here as a fast action and investigate again using... Did I not discard my first one? No, I did. I just drew my second one. Using my second Burning the Midnight Oil to investigate at 5 to 2 because of Jeremiah Kirby's bonus to book. +1 is 6 to 2. I get both clues. And I'm going to end my turn there. Upkeep phase, we all get 1 card and 1 resource. Well, I was planning on using the ability on Rex to find Milan, but I guess I just don't need to anymore. I'll probably still be doing it on Daniela, though, since she doesn't so much have 1 ally she needs as a million. Now it's time for the Mythos phase. We add 1 Doom, 1 out of 6, and we draw our Mythos cards. We have an Acolytes. Acolytes can be spawned in any location that is an empty location, i.e. one that there are no investigators or other enemies at. And when he spawns, he gets a Doom. So we need to go deal with him sooner rather than later. Hunting Shadow is a card with the peril keyword. It means 2 things. The first thing that peril means is that you cannot consult your teammates about any decisions you're making with this card. And the second thing it means is that your teammates cannot commit any skill cards to any tests that come from a peril card. In this case, it's just the decision. I can either spend 1 clue or take 2 damage. As you can see, I have no clues. In Arkham Horror, if you ever have a decision where one option affects the game state and the other one doesn't, you are not allowed to pick the one that does nothing. You have to pick the decision that affects the game state. So Daniela can't choose to spend clues she doesn't have. In this case, you would never be allowed to do it because it says spend 1 clue. But if it said lose 1 clue, for instance, as opposed to spend 1, you wouldn't be allowed to pick that if you had no clues. In this case, it's just take 2 damage, nothing to say about it. Now again, I'm going to go first with Daniela. This time I'm going to play Stand Together as my first action, which gives both players 2 resources. More specifically, it gives you and someone else at your location 2 resources. It's not just both players generally. Then she's going to move as her second action and swing at this Acolyte as her third action, again at +3, 6 to 1. And she misses. Well, that's unfortunate for her, because it means she'll be getting hit for more damage. But I'm sure she'll be fine. She's got plenty of soak lying around. For Milan, first action I'm playing Christopher Milan. For Rex, rather, first action I'm playing Christopher Milan. Oh, I should flip these locations. I keep being distracted by the Acolytes and not doing it. St. Mary's Hospital is a 2-shroud location with 2 clues and an ability to spend an action to heal 3 damage that's limited to once per game. So Daniela may be picking up on that sooner rather than later as she missed that attack and is now taking, the full 3 damage. It's pretty efficient at this point. Because I don't want Rex to get too far ahead of Daniela and just have him move normally to this location. And investigate at now base 6 against 2. Do I want to do that actually? I'm considering playing Search for the Truth. I'm going to play Search for the Truth. I spend 1 resource and I draw 4 cards. Search for the Truth just draws the number of clues that you have. And I draw my weakness, which actually isn't as bad as you might think it is. He spawns at the location furthest from me, which is any of these 3 locations. We're not going to the graveyard anytime soon, so I'll pick this one. And that's it for Rex's turn, so upkeep phase. Well, not quite. Enemy phase. Daniela gets slapped from 1 by the Acolyte, and then upkeep phase. Rex drew both of his weakness. Very good. So what Rex's Curse does is it's Rex's signature weakness. Whenever you succeed a skill test while this is in play, it's going to make you pull out a new token, and if that makes you fail the test, then you shuffle Rex's Curse back into the test. If you don't fail the test, then Rex's Curse stays in play forever. This isn't really that rough to deal with. It's just really annoying to keep pulling secondary tokens and having your effects not trigger. It's not that bad, it's just incredibly obnoxious. Anyway, enough about Rex's Curse. Let's go to Daniela's upkeep phase. Prepared for the worst, which is, wholly irrelevant as I've already drawn all the weapons. Anyway, it's time for the Mythos phase. We go to 2 of 6 Doom. We draw our event cards, and this puts 2 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy, which is Daniela's Acolyte. Daniela is going to draw the Wizard of the Order, who is going to, again, spawn an enemy empty location just like a cultist would. However, instead of spawning in the Doom, every Mythos phase, when it ends, he's going to get 1 Doom. So the Mythos phase ends, he goes to 1 Doom, and of course he has much better stats than the generic cultist. Oh, and I forgot to move the thing that follows from the graveyard, so let's move him over to Rivertown. And the thing that follows is a monster-style weakness. It's Rex's generic weakness. It is not that hard to deal with. It's only 3/2/3, but it ignores everyone except Rex. What this really means is it's just a hassle for your fighter to deal with because you have to spend an extra action engaging it. And you never really deal with it. It always gets shuffled back into your deck and starts falling again. Very thematic, not very hard though. Which now brings us to our actual turn. So this time I'm going to take Rex's turn first, and the reason being is that Shortcut can actually be used on your teammates. And Rex's turn, I'm going to immediately use Shortcut to boot Daniela out of the hospital. I know I said I wanted to heal her, That's not happening. I need to deal with all of these enemies simultaneously. She's going to have to wait a while to go to that hospital. Probably never going to that hospital, if we're being honest with ourselves. Next, as Rex, I'm going to investigate at 6-2 in this hospital. A 0 is both clues, and I trigger Milan's ability for 1 money. Then I'm going to move my second action to move up, which I should have, again, revealed this, but I'm just not thinking about revealing locations, so I keep booting her into a location with enemies, and that's the real reason I'm moving, nothing to do with the location, I'm just out of order. Miskatonic University has an ability that lets me scry my deck for tomes or spells, which isn't actually used for me at all. As far as I'm concerned, it's just 4 Shroud, 4 Clues. Oh, and generally speaking, I'm not mentioning when locations have a victory. So far, it looks like this is the first one to have victory, but I honestly don't really look for it. I just assume the way that scenarios are balanced, I need to get all the clues from every location if I want all the victory and to win, which is usually the case. And now at this point, I could just keep getting clues, but instead I'm going to use that ability on the act to spend 4 of my 6 clues. And draw the top card of the Cultist deck. Which is hilariously where we just were. And that will be Rex's last action, because this is, in fact, not a thing you can do for free, but something with the action arrow indicating I need to spend an action for it. Now on Daniela's turn, first action, I'm going to try to kill the Cultist at +3. He's out of here. Second action, I'm going to try to kill the Wizard of the Order at +2. He's also out of here. Yes, the +1 damage didn't happen on the Cultist, but Cultist only has 1 health, so it doesn't actually matter. Rex is going to hit for 1/1 by the thing that falls at the end of this turn. And that's completely fine. For the last action, I'm going to have Daniela spend 3 resources to play a guard dog. And now it's enemy phase. The thing that follows finds and engages Rex. I forgot to use Rex's curse. Like I was saying, it's just annoying. +1 would have had the same result. So Rex gets hit for 1/1, which I will be giving to his 2 teammates instead of him. And now it's time for upkeep phases, because I don't believe she does anything. Nope. And now on to the Mythos phase. Up to 3 of 6 doom, or down 2 rather, since we dealt with all the Cultists. On Wings of Darkness, as I test 4 foot, which for Rex is down 1, and if I fail, I take 1 damage, 1 horror, and I disengage from non-Night God enemies, and move to a central location. That would normally be good, because it would get me off of the thing that follows and engage it with Daniela, but this ignores everyone but Rex, so really I'm just taking damage and horror. Because it doesn't engage with Daniela, it ignores her. Oh well. And Daniela gets a locked door, which is going to be going on her location. So I think Daniela is going to go first. First action, she engages the thing that follows. Then she swings at it with her machete at 6-3, so +3. Kills it. Gets shuffled back into Rex's deck. And then she's going to try to break down this door at 5-4 to commit Prepared for the Worst for 6-4. What does that even do? Nothing. But it does get rid of the door. Rex, meanwhile, is going to walk back into the room. And he is going to investigate with Read the Signs to combine his 6 book and 3 head for a total of 9-4. And I won't be committing anything to this. -4. So that's only 5-4, so at the end of the day, I only get 2 clues. I forgot to get my money from Milan, I think. If I'm cheating, I am sorry. It's not the biggest deal that that missed, because I still need to investigate to get the last clue anyway, so I'm going to use Higher Education twice to get up 4, or up 6, actually. So unless I hit auto-fail, I will pass by 2. And that is actually specifically why I use Higher Education twice rather than once, is because -3 and -4 didn't get me both clues. And now I have all the clues from this location. Milan gives me one of the money I used back. And I play Crack the Case for resources. Now, I don't think I'm ever going to need money as Rex. I do think Daniela might need money in the future, so I'm going to give Rex 1 money and Daniela 3. And to remind you what Crack the Case does, it lets you, as a fast action, when you get the last clue at a location, give out that location's shroud value as resources to investigators at the location. That is the end of the phase. Ruth Turner's going to continue doing nothing, and we're going to go into the upkeep phase. You know, I really should be using this. I got -4 on the first one, so it did nothing. And I got tablet on the second one, which I think might actually do something. Nope, it's just -3 again. Okay. I hate this. Like, it's literally next to the button in this. It should be so hard to forget, and I forget it every time. So, no enemies do anything. Upkeep phase. Doom on the agenda. And evil cards. Mysterious Chanting. We now have to go deal with Ruth Turner because she has 2 Doom on her. Because she is, in fact, a cultist. So she is a viable target for that card. And Daniela's evil card is another locked door. This one, however, will be doing nothing because all the clues and all the locations are already gone. This isn't an obviously bad scenario. Daniela can pretty easily kill Ruth Turner, but there is just a chance I hit auto-fail when I do this, and we lose an entire round. But I am going to move down and swing at +2 with my machete twice, which the vast majority of the time will kill Ruth Turner. That is a -3 with a penalty for failing, so nothing, and a -2, so she does die. Today is not the time that I showcase bad variants resulting in much, much worse outcomes, it turns out. We'll get there eventually. Next for Rex, I don't really want to hold on to 6 clues at a time. But on the flip side, I also really don't want to spawn cultists potentially on top of me. Actually, I think the one that spawns on Miskatonic University is one that I test with Book or something. I can... Oh no, this is the one you get with clues. Which I guess I can afford to do. Yeah, okay. I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 clues to just summon a cultist. And if it is the one from Miskatonic University, it sucks, but it's fine. This is the one from Northside, just above me. And she says spend 5 resources to get rid of her. Well, I have 5 resources. And I need her to leave, so I guess I'm going to go do that. I'm going to move up and parlay for 5 resources. Which, like, I wanted to spend those resources on other things, but I guess this is fine. I have no recollection of paying the resources for my previous read the signs. And I'm just going to assume I didn't and remove them now. And that's the top of the round. So, no enemies, upkeep phase. It does feel kind of bad to mulligan away all my allies with 2 charismas and then never draw them again. Oh well. 5 of 6 Doom. Evil cards. Obscuring Fog. You probably should start revealing locations when I move to them. I don't know why I'm doing it so poorly this time. 3 Shroud, 4 clues, Victory 1. Spend 5 resources to gain 2 clues. Alright. I don't think I'll be doing that as I'm already bankrupt on Rex, but okay. And I'll probably be needing to use my higher education just to get through the Obscuring Fog. Daniela's evil card is False Lead. She has no clue, so it gains Surge. That means you draw another card. She gets Crypt Chill instead. Test for Brain, which she has Guts, I think? No, she doesn't. Wait, yes, she does. So I will commit Guts to that to test at 6 to 4, and maybe lose a Machete. Skull should be, yeah, nothing. So I pass, and I draw a card. And I draw it to Rex's hand like a goober. Alright, our turn. I think I want to go first with Rex to see how it goes. I think I'm going to use the rest of my money on another Read the Signs to test at 9 to 5. 9 because 6 plus 3 for Read the Signs, and 3 plus 2 for Obscuring Fog, so yeah. So I want to hit -2 or less. Well, that's still a pass, and I get the money back from Milan. Well, some of it. But I don't get the 3rd clue from Rex. I do, however, get rid of the Obscuring Fog, which I don't think has actually come up so far in my video, so it attaches to your location, and it gives your location +2 Shroud. Once you successfully investigate, it goes away. I'm going to investigate again at 6 to 3, and I'm going to use my higher education on it. Actually, no. I'm going to be up 4 just by using Eureka, and that seems good enough to me. Cultist is -2, which is the number I was looking for. The vast majority of the bag is -2s or less, which is why I care so much about being up 4 for Rex. And I get a money from Milan, and I get to search the top 3 for Eureka. I will take Magnifying Glass. Is that correct? Definitely correct. I'm going to play that Magnifying Glass as a fast action. And I know I'm safe right now where I'm at, so I'm going to spend 4 clues. And summon a cultist for my last action. we got the Peter Warren dude who spawns at Miskatonic University. Well, I didn't really want to beat this man to death. I was kind of planning on spending clues to do it, but I guess since Rex is not going to want me to go backwards at this time, we're going to be beating him to death. Daniela's turn. I think first action, I will heal 3 damage. Next action, I will move up to where he is, engaging with him. And last action, I'm going to hit him with my machete. Now, he does have 3 health, so I'll commit Vicious Blow, which increases the damage of a successful attack by 1. I'm already at 7-2, so just on auto fail, and he dies. Get out of here. And that is a really solid pace so far. My only regret is that Daniela is not at Rex's location, but oh well. Enemy phase, there are no enemies, so we go straight to upkeep. Yeah, I shuffled my deck because that's clearly a different magnifying glass since the other one's in play. And now we go to the evil phase, we go to 6 of 6 and reset Doom, and we progress the agenda, which it turns out has an enemy on the back. It is the Masked Hunter. He spawns engaged with his prey is most clues, and that is definitely Rex. I don't even know what skill test I took last turn, but I didn't do Rex's curse for them. I'm putting it on top of the button. Yeah, evidently my cold, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, is still lingering a bit, because I am not playing at the top of my game today. Anyway, the Masked Hunter has 4 fists, 2 foot, and a health of 8 because he gets plus 2 health per investigator. And while engaged with him, you can't discover or spend clues. So, first action of this round. No one's taking actions yet. We should draw our evil cards. Crypt Chill on Rex. Test for Brain. I can't discover clues anyway, so I don't want to spend these True Understandings. I'm just going to lose a magnifying glass if I fail, so I really don't care. And it does nothing on a failure, so that just handles itself. Goodbye magnifying glass. Showed up right on time, I guess. And there's an Acolyte for Daniela. I'm going to put him here. I'm just putting him in the path that we're walking down already, so that we can get to him without wasting any actions. Next up, Daniela is going to move into Rex's location. Engage the Masked Hunter. That's her second action. And then swing with Overpower in the machete. And that's just 8-4, so don't auto-fail. And for once, Daniela hit somebody who's not dead immediately. Does Daniela really have 11 resources? Jesus. Imagine thinking you were going to draw and play your ally assets. Clearly, I should not have given her that crack the case money. Next up for Rex. Rex can't really move forward. Actually, that was a terrible place to put the Acolyte. For Rex's end, I'm going to go ahead and drop Jeremiah Kirby at this point in the scenario, which is probably a little bit wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and play Lita Chandler to help out with fighting, because I can't move forward, as I said previously. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Do I want a lucky cigarette case? Not right now. And I guess to be fair, it's not that bad to have Rex staying here with Daniela, because if Rex did go ahead without Daniela, things could potentially snowball very quickly. So, enemy phase. The Masked Hunter is going to attack for 2-1. Daniela will take 1 of herself, put 1 on the guard dog, and the guard dog will bite back and deal 1 to the Masked Hunter, putting it at 3 of 8. And then we can move on to upkeep phase. I'm going to move this slightly away from the upkeep button. Rex at 8 cards, so he's fine. Oh, and we can use Daniela's ability. Let's not forget to actually, hit people for damage when they slap us, because it's the whole point of playing this character. Top of the round, we're now at 2 of 8 Doom and evil cards. Rex is testing 4 foot and probably getting thrown across the map, but oh well, I guess we'll be fine. Oh. I don't really want to draw 3 cards and teleport away. If I did, though, I'd probably draw an occult invocation to be able to kill things. Not that there's anything to kill is the problem. So instead I'll just take the pass and hang out where I am. Will I? Rex is sort of useless in his current location. No, I'm going to auto-fail that and take 1-1 to draw 3 cards. Well, those are some fucking cards. All 3 of these regain a clue. And Rex gets removed from his current location and sent down here to the only central location, Rivertown. So I'm sitting here looking at Daniela's hand and realizing how sketchy this position is. If I pull a Hunting Night Gaunt, which is the only threatening enemy in the deck, it's actually terrible. Unlike Obscuring Fog, which does literally nothing. Wait, are there 2 left? Holy shit. Yeah, so there was just a 1 in 3 chance of me having no idea how Daniela is supposed to solve this encounter. I'm glad we're dodging that bullet. Because my plan was for Rex to be able to help fighting this turn by drawing those cards, but it turns out that's not what's happening. Anyway, since Daniela is fine, let's start with her turn. She's going to swing until this guy dies, however many swings it takes. She's currently swinging at +2. I'm going to overpower the first one. -2, I draw a card and send it to Rex by accident. And he takes 2 damage. And I'm actually going to kill him without attacking for this last action. I'm going to spend 3 resources to play Guard Dog. He attacks me immediately. I take 1/1. This Guard Dog takes 1 and bites him for 1, putting him to 7. And I use Daniela's ability to hit him for 1 more for 8. And I'm just going to move into the next location as my last action to get the Acolyte to engage with me. He'll hit me during the enemy phase, and then my Guard Dog can kill him. Or I can kill him. It's all up to me, really. He's dead for sure. There's just 3 different ways to go about it. For Rex's turn, I need to use these clue-finding abilities. For the life of me, I can't remember if either of these are... I know this is 1 per player, so I'm going to go to Graveyard instead. It is 4 clues, thank God. It has 1 Shroud, 4 location, and after I enter the Graveyard, I must test 3 Brain. If I fail, I'm going to take 2 Horror or move backwards. In this case, I would choose to take 2 Horror every time. We're a little bit past Lucky Cigarette Case, so I'm going to throw both of them at this test. Actually, yeah, I'm going to throw both of these at the test. And I'm also going to throw both of these True Understandings at the test. That gives me a total of +4, 2 from the head from the Cigarette Cases and 2 from the True Understandings. If I pass, this is a scenario card, the location is, I'll get 2 clues from these 2 True Understandings. So +4, I just need to not auto-fail. The first one is a tablet, and I remember this time, the second one is a +1. So I don't take 2 Horror, and I get 2 clues. And that helps me to empty out my hand of all these cards, and actually not just discard my entire hand. Because I would have like 12 cards during upkeep. Now, unfortunately, I don't think these deductions and working hunches are going to matter very much. But I will spend a resource, play a Magnifying Glass, and investigate again with Perception. Yeah, with Perception. At 6, 8 to 1. Why would I use Perception? I mean, I just want to cycle the card, I guess is the real answer. I'm going to hold Perception so I can use it with Occult Invocation later. And in fact, before I investigate, I'm going to spend my last 2 resources playing Preposterous Sketches to draw 3. And get Occult Invocation, finally. And now I'll investigate at just straight 6 to 1. That is up 5, and that is even more. So we're going to get 1 resource from Milan. We're going to get both clues from Rex's ability. I'll be discarding a card right now, so I'm going to crack the case for a single resource. Alright, for how sketchy the start of that turn could have been, that went really well. Let's see if it keeps up. No enemies are alive, so we go to upkeep phase. This man attacks. He's going to deal 1 damage to Daniela, and Daniela is going to use her ability to kill him. Top of the round, 2 of 8 Doom. Rex draws a Hunting Night Gaunt. And Daniela draws the other Hunting Night Gaunt. Alright. So Rex can kill a 3 health enemy pretty easily, but he can't do anything to a 4 health enemy is the problem. Oh wait, Daniela Chandler says that he can. Cool. Rex will go first then. I'm going to use an action, 2 resources, play Occult Invocation. As an additional cost to play Occult Invocation, I'm going to discard 2 cards. I don't need these working hunches anymore. They're too expensive to ever really play. I've already got all the clues on the map, basically. So now I'm attacking with Occult Invocation at +2 for the 2 cards discarded. So 6, 7 against 3. That passes by everything but autofail. So let's see if autofail gets us. We don't even need to see the second one. Well, I'm going to attempt to evade at 3 to 1. Cool. there's not a whole lot to do here but evade again and be sad that Rex lost his entire turn. So this will disengage and exhaust. It's going to ready and re-engage during the upkeep phase. Let's see if Daniela's turn can go a little bit better than that. I figured that between being able to kill it in one hit and then evading it +2, I wouldn't be that far away from having a good turn. That could have looked very different. Daniela Reyes is going to be taking on her Night God, hopefully much more successfully. I do need to hit it twice. I'm only up 3. I'm just going to take an opportunity attack, I think. I spend 4 resources to play a beat cop with my second charisma. I'm going to hit for 1/1, put 1 on a guard dog, and put the horror on me. I can't put it on the beat cop because the beat cop wasn't in play when the attack goes off. The guard dog bites for 1, and Daniela also bites for 1. Although oh wait, Daniela can't use her ability on provoked attacks of opportunity. That probably means I cheated earlier. Damn. I think I did it once against the Masked Hunter, but I probably had other ways to guarantee that and a very likely hit attack anyway, so I'm not going to fret about it too much. Live and learn, unfortunately. And then I'm just going to attack twice, I guess, because this play turned out to be terrible, but I am up 4 instead of 3 now. So that one's a hit. And that one's an auto fail. Alas. But it will still die over the enemy phase because, well, the player phase is done. It attacks, deals 1/1, horror on the beat cop, damage on the dog bites it, and it dies. Upkeep phase, this Night God readies and re-engages. And Mythos phase, 3 of 8, evil cards. Rex isn't great at taking 2 damage, but Lita Chandler kind of is. I still need these clues because we are not done with the cultist stack. And you don't have a choice in the matter. So I'm just taking 2 damage here as well. So Daniela's turn is not even able to interact with Rex. So Rex just has to go first and not fail to dodge this with his curse in play. That feels terrible. But it's the situation I put myself in, so here we are. First action, dodging at +2. The curse says we redraw it, and the curse says it does nothing and we exhaust the Night God. Rex immediately leaves the location as a second action. And third action, I'll spend 6 of my clues, or 4 of my 6 rather, to summon another cultist. See, that's the reason Rex was even in the graveyard in the first place, was to immediately get rid of Herman Collins by discarding cards. Things didn't quite go according to that plan. Rex's turn is over. Daniela's going to move 3 times. Herman Collins is going to engage with Daniela. And that's her turn. Upkeep phase, well, enemy phase. Herman Collins hits for 1/1. I'm going to stop taking all this damage and play dodge. But I can still trigger my ability. Actually, do I want to dodge that? I actually really don't think I can afford to. Gotta take the damage this time. I'll take the horror myself, and I will put... Oh, my guard dogs are almost dead. Well, the 1/1 will go into one of my guard dogs then. And it will bite him for 1, and Daniela will also bite him for 1. Enemy phase, or upkeep phase rather, this Night God will ready. We'll draw our cards and gain our resources. The thing that follows will spawn here because these are the only 2 locations and I don't want it in downtown. That's where I'm going. And Mythos phase, 4 of 8 doom. And evil cards. False lead. I have 2 clues, so I'm testing for brain. Gonna throw perception at that because I don't want to drop my clues. I'm up 4. Redraw it. Nothing. So, get to keep that, and I get to draw a card, which is the other perception. Acolyte in an empty location. I'm going to put him up here. Daniela can meet up and kill that Acolyte relatively soon, I think. And now it's back to our turns. Daniela's just going to be swinging quite a lot, it looks like. Moving Rex 3 locations away from Daniela was like a really bad call. I should have moved him up here instead. But I was thinking that Hunting Night God was very easy to kill, and Rex was good at killing Herman Collins if it was the person he pulled. I didn't really consider how bad auto-failing the check on Hunting Night God might be, and it's fine though, I think. I think we can still wrap it up with a full 6 cultists from here. But then you also have to actually have a good turn here. So I think I'm just swinging a lot. I'm at 7-3 against both these guys, so I just like don't autofail is all that matters. Herman Collins first. He's dead. Night Gaunts, 2 damage. Alright, that's both of them done. This one's discarded. And this one's in the victory display. Which means we just need to finish off these 2 locations for victory and the last cultist. Which I know it's going to spawn at one of these locations, but I don't know which. It's going to spawn in downtown, I remember. Rex is going to spend his first action moving, by the way, in case that wasn't clear. 2 Shroud, 2 allies, or 2 clues rather, and when you're here, the allies you play cost 2 less. Which is neat, but not particularly important. I'm going to investigate, and I'm going to commit deduction, just in case I somehow get -4 and don't get both. I don't want to do math. Yeah, maybe -4 was enough, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. I'm out of it, I'm getting to both clues though. And as my last action, I will spend all 4 of these clues, and some of the last cultist, Wolfman Drew. He spawns in downtown, yep. And he's the one that you're actually just expected to full-on fight. And that's the end of the round for us, though. The enemies, I believe he's not Hunter. He is not. Enemy phase, the Hunter moves. Upkeep. Don't need the second machete. Oh, I'm actually only at 8 on Daniela. And in that case, top of the round. 5, 6 of 8 Doom. Another Acolyte. Putting this one in the middle. I have to take 2 damage. Killing my beat cop feels wrong, but like, yeah, there's no direct damage in this scenario. I take the damage myself. So Daniela is going to move, attack, move. We're at 7-3, so don't autofail. Okay. If she autofailed that, we probably just had to leave. That's her turn. Rex has an occult invocation, so he's able to deal some damage. This guy's not a monster, though, so he can't kill it in 1. However, Rex has health to spare. I could just go in there and use occult invocation and a perception to, like, get started on this. I can take 3 damage. I don't want to, but I can. With Rex's curse, though, how likely is that to actually hit? I'm testing 9-4 just on autofail. Now, we've been there before, though, haven't we? I'm going to let Rex do nothing this round, just so the thing that follows doesn't get involved with this, because I don't really feel like we have the capacity to kill him. And I think what I'm going to be doing is just drawing cards. So first action, I'm going to draw a card. This hasn't come up before, so when your deck is out and you draw a card, you shuffle your deck, your discard pile rather, into a new deck, and you draw a card. You also take 1 horror. I'm basically just looking for question marks, I think, to commit to skill test. I've got both deductions. I guess I'm looking for a read the sign so I can get all the clues very quickly. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm drawing 2 cards. There's nothing else to do. Alright, so that's it for the player phase. Hunter's move. Alright, upkeep phase for Rex. We need to discard some cards. These assets don't matter anymore. I guess Preposterous Sketches is technically maybe more use on the Jeremiah Curry, but I think it's sort of a moot point. I'm not going to waste my time thinking about it. And we finally have the Pete Sylvester Meat Cleaver combo now that we're halfway through the deck, and the scenario is literally over. We won't be needing the second machete. So, before we can see how this finale goes, we have to do the evil phase, 6 of 8 Doom, which is 7 of 8 thanks to the Acolyte. False lead, I have no clues, so it gains Surge. Crypt Chill. Again, I can't really do anything about this. It's 3-4. I'm pretty much guaranteed to fail and lose a magnifying glass. Not a big deal. Place 1 Doom on the nearest cultist enemy. So I'll place it on this Acolyte, and so that you know, we're at 8 of 8 Doom now, but we don't actually lose the game. You only check Doom to see if you advance right after you place the Doom on the agenda, so we're safer than that. Oh, also, we lose this magnifying glass. And it's a good thing, too, because that guy has all the Doom in the world. Now, since Daniela's drawn Heroic Rescue, I think I have a more or less guaranteed kill here. So I'm going to move in and engage with everyone. And that will reveal the location as well. 4 Shroud, 4 Clues, Victory 1. The awkward thing here is if Daniela were to kill him, we would advance immediately. So I only want to deal 2 damage to Wolfman Drew. That was our move. This is our attack. We're swinging with the machete, of course. It is 7-4. -1 is a hit. We are not going to be swinging the second time. We're just going to kill this cultist at 7-3. That's -4 now, but 7-3 -4 is still fine. Just barely. Get him out of here. That is Daniela's turn. Rex is going to move in as his first action. As his next action, we're going to pray we don't auto-fail. Not quite. As his next action, we're going to... Ah, damn, this doesn't actually work. I was thinking that I was going to engage Wolfman Drew and then investigate and get all 4 clues, and Wolfman Drew would hit me and Daniela would kill him. But that doesn't actually work. Because Rex is going to trigger the attack of opportunity before he gets the clues, and therefore we would advance before the investigation happens. However, it's fine because there's only 6 Doom in play right now. I can just investigate normally. And by normally, I mean with all the deductions in the world. It is 7-4. Let's make it 9-4. Just don't hit auto-fail. Please go away. Cool. I will not be choosing to fail that. Instead, I will get all 4 clues, 2 from deductions, 1 from Rex, and 1 from the investigate itself. And as my last action, I will give a round of applause because the scenario is over. The enemy phase is next. It attacks Daniela for 2 meat damage. It deals 1 damage to the guard dog, killing the guard dog and taking 1 damage itself. And then Daniela uses her ability, putting the other damage onto the speed cop, to deal this thing 1 more damage for a total of 4, which is dead. Which means we're winning with all 6 cultists and a round to spare. It turns out that Rex is really damn good, and Daniela's not half bad either. So, let's quickly go through our resolution. Again, I'm not reading flavor text, I'm just getting through the mechanics of it. And for this campaign resolution, you just mark everyone who you interviewed and who got away. So for me, that's easy. For cultists we interrogated, I'm just going to write everyone, because that's what happens. I could go through and write them one by one if I were playing it the first time and didn't know if there might be more cultists later, but this is all the cultists that the campaign will need to reference. So I interrogated everyone. No one got away. Mission complete. That's it for the Midnight Mass. I'll see you next time in the Devourer below. I've been Rather Incoherent. I hope you had a good time, and if you did, then like, comment, subscribe, etc., etc., and I'll see you in the next one.